How do you create a digital product, either your first or your next, with your content backlog? This is what we're talking about today, so let's get right to it. Hey y'all, Crystal here today, and we are talking about your content backlog. And maybe you're like, Crystal, what does that even mean? I've never heard this word before. This simply means the content that you've already created. So this video today isn't really going to be for someone that's brand new and you're just getting started and you have no content out in the world. This is really geared towards those of you that have 20 podcast episodes or 50 blog posts or 100 YouTube videos. Okay, you don't have to have that much content, but you get where I'm going. Like, you have to have something in order to apply the principles that we're talking about today, because I don't want you starting from scratch. That's really what today's video is all about. I want you to start selling your content, start monetizing your content, and I want you to do it from ideas and inspiration that you've already had. It's likely that if you're already creating content, it's super powerful. You're going to have some stuff that's been downloaded way more than others or watched so many more times than your other pieces of content. And I think it's really important that you focus in on the pieces that are strategic, very helpful to your audience, and ones that you can charge money for. Ding, ding, ding. Like, that's the magic word here. I want you to take your free piece of content and turn it into something that is valuable, something that someone is willing to pay for. So I want you to look at your podcast episodes or your blog post or your YouTube videos and find out which pieces are the ones that resonate most with your audience. I have 5 steps that I'm going to break down for you today, because these are the easiest way to get started creating your first or next digital product. So let's dive into these. Step number 1, I want you to pick your content. Again, you have to have a content backlog of some sort in order to do this. You can't say, I'm going to pick my first 5 most downloaded episodes if you only have 4, right? It's not going to work that way. So I want you to go through the process of examining your content backlog and deciding which ones would be the best for you to monetize. Now, we're going to get to there in a second of how this actually works, but the first thing you have to do is pick maybe your top downloaded podcast or your most viewed blog post or your most watched or highest engaged YouTube videos. This is what I want you to do, is find your most popular content. A mistake that I see a lot of creators make is they go back to the beginning, like chronologically, they go back to episode 1 or blog post number 1 and say, how can I monetize this? Don't start chronologically. Start with the most popular, most engaged piece of content first, and then you can decide how you can monetize it. So that is step number 1. I want you to pick the content that you want to create a product for. Step number 2 is I want you to decide what type of product you're going to create. Now, I have so many examples of this. Do you have a public podcast episode that you want to make private, but you want to add a lot more bells and whistles on the back end? Maybe you go deeper, you share more stories, or you share more behind the scenes, but there has to be some sort of value that you're adding to the free content. Another example is you take a podcast episode, right? You've already planned it, you've created it, it's already out in the world. And then you ask, well, how can I take this to the next level? Maybe it's creating a Canva presentation and turning it into a video training. That's another way that you could create a product out of the content you've already created. Another simple way to do this is to take a video that you created for YouTube and turn it into a training workbook. Maybe you transcribe the video and you create a $7 workbook that you can sell to people that are watching the video, and you let them know, hey, it's linked below that we took this whole training and we turn it into a PDF workbook that you can follow step by step in order to get results that you are promising. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. You could even combine 2 or 3 blog posts that you've created previously, put them all into a really fancy, well-designed ebook, and then have fillable PDFs in the back that are like someone's homework. It's their worksheets that they have to go through that will help them get clear on their ideas or get more organized. I've seen so many of these done really well in the blogging space, and I think that it's something that you shouldn't discount as not going to be working for your content. You could absolutely try this. So that is step number 2, right? Decide what kind of product you're going to create. Step number 3 is deciding what platform you're going to sell on, because you can't just create a product and hope that people will buy. You actually have to have a method of exchanging, like having the actual transaction take place. So I wanted to give you some recommendations from services and platforms that I've used in the past. KAJABI is one of them. I'm a proud affiliate and partner with KAJABI. It's what I use for my digital courses. I've used it for affiliate promotions whenever I have a bonus or I have a training that I want to have behind a paywall. So KAJABI is fantastic, but I do want to let you know that it is a little bit more advanced. I don't recommend KAJABI to someone that's just starting and you're not making a ton of money, because it is a monthly expense that I don't want to see you get started with if you aren't ready to take on that monthly budgetary item that you're going to have. So KAJABI is fantastic, but I do want to warn you a little bit. It's not for someone that isn't currently making any money in their business. I want to see you succeed. So I would recommend KAJABI after you have some steady monthly revenue coming into your business. But I'm going to have a link below, but you can go to crystalproffitt.com/KAJABI to try them out and check out if there's any special promotions, because they do those from time to time for new users, and they're amazing. The next platform I would recommend, especially for those of you that want to create a digital course, is Teachable. So Teachable is the very first platform I ever used whenever I was getting started with digital courses. It's where I created my very first course, and it was so awesome. It was very easy to use, and it's one of those platforms that just keeps getting better. I see amazing things that Teachable is doing. So if you want to create a simple mini course or a mini training and you want to put it behind that paywall, Teachable is absolutely a great way to go. You can go to crystalproffitt.com/Teachable to check them out. And then I want to throw out these platforms, but also let you know behind the scenes that you have to actually be able to set up integrated payments on these systems. Now, what does that mean? This means that you have to have a platform like Stripe or PayPal in order to actually do the transactions between your business and your customers. So this is something important for you to think about and to know ahead of time before you start creating digital products. Like, you need to do some of these housekeeping things first in order to have everything set up and be successful and start selling your amazing products that I know you're going to create. So I have 2 other options that are a little unconventional, but they can absolutely work for a digital product. And that is Shopify, which you could use to sell ebooks, PDFs, all the workbooks that you want to sell. This is a great place to do those digital products where you're like, it's not really a course, but it's not something I just want to put up on PayPal. Like, it's kind of that weird. Shopify is a great place to check out and sell your digital products. If you have fonts or graphics or all kinds of really cool things, it's just great for digital products. And then the last thing I wanted to tell you about is ConvertKit. And you're like, Crystal, ConvertKit is an email service provider. What are you talking about? They don't do digital products. Yes, they do. This is one of the cool things I love about ConvertKit as a company is they keep evolving and adding new cool features to their platform and products. Like, you can sell products through ConvertKit. It's actually really, really cool. I haven't done it personally yet. I'm going to say yet because I'm planning to explore this as an option for a product that I'm looking at down the road. But you can actually sell through ConvertKit, which is amazing. But that is step number 3. You have to choose the platform that you want to sell on. And I'm going to have everything linked in the video description for all of those that I just mentioned. But I want to take a pause here for a second, and I want to know, What questions do you have about either picking your content, deciding what to create, any of these platforms? Let me know in the comments what questions you have, because I don't want you to walk away from this video like scratching your head saying, I wish you would have talked more about this. Put them in the comments and we will start a discussion on all the things that you want to talk about when it comes to creating a digital product with your backlog. Okay, let's move on. So step number 4 is creating a promotional plan. I feel like in the last few months, we've talked a lot more about selling in your content, what that can look like. I created this video right here all about your content strategy funnel and what that is and what that can look like. And so I want to make sure that you understand how to create a promotional plan for the thing that you're creating, because it's not enough to just publish a sales page, set up all your buttons and your cart on the back end for people to check out, and your Stripe and your PayPal, everything's good to go. It's not enough to just throw up a sales page and people will flood to it and start buying it. You need to create a promotional plan. And what I mean by that is you need to have a launch date. Like, when is the thing that you're creating actually going to be ready? You need to decide what platforms are you going to market it on? Are you going to talk about it in your email, on your podcast, in your YouTube, on your blog, on social media? Like, where are you going to let customers know that this thing is available to buy? You have to make a plan for this. And then you have to decide how much time, energy, and effort are you willing to put into this? Because I don't want to see you spending 6 months of your life creating a $7 product. I really don't. Like, 2 weeks max whenever it comes to something that's less than $50, and then get it out into the world. Because that was step number 4. Moving into step number 5, the step that is so important is launching it out into the world. Because I want you to launch it out there so you can get feedback and you can iterate and you can make it better. You can get that social proof or your testimonials from your audience, from the people that are consuming the thing. And maybe you start off with a $7 product, but then it gets better and you raise the price to a $17 product, then $27, then $47, and then maybe it's a $97 product in 12 months, but you kind of baby stepped into it. You made it better over time. Because I think what happens a lot of the time, people get really discouraged when they don't have a $97 product or a $997 product right out of the gate. They're like, this really isn't that good. And I know it could be better, but I just don't know how to get it there. The way that you get it there is putting it out into the world, taking the honest feedback from your customers. Maybe it needs to be a podcast episode and a video training and a workbook all together. Maybe it's all the same content, just delivered in a few different formats to really get people to get the amazing results that you know they can get. So I hope that you found this super helpful. Again, I'm going to recap the 5 steps really fast. So number 1 is pick your content. Number 2, decide what product to create. Number 3, choose a platform to sell on. Number 4, create a promotional plan. And number 5, launch it out into the world. And I want to know, what other questions do you have about selling in your content, creating digital products? Because I have some awesome resources I would love to send your way. Make sure you check the video description again for all the things we talked about here today. And I'm going to link to some other valuable resources that I know that you're going to love. But that's all I have for you today. So make sure you hit the thumbs up on this video if you found it helpful. Subscribe below if you have not already. And make sure you check out these other awesome videos that we have right here, all about creating content with confidence. And as always, remember, keep it up. We all have to start somewhere.